The swap between Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson in the two Red Bull teams turned the F1 space upside down. Many people feel sorry for Lawson, many people are afraid for Tsunoda, but most of all, people are angry with Red Bull for being so harsh on their drivers. I usually side with Red Bull on matters like this, but in this case, even the Dutch star driver Max Verstappen is cross. I've followed Max Verstappen in F1 since the beginning and I studied why he's angry with this whole situation. The reason why he's pissed off might be different to what you think. And the consequences for the Red Bull team are huge if this is the start of his exit from the Austrian team. I'm Wimbo. Here's 3 seconds to leave a like. I'm sure you've heard this, but Liam Lawson has been demoted to the V-Carb team and Yuki Tsunoda has been promoted to the main team. Many people wanted him next to Verstappen anyway, so you think they'd be happy. However, most of the discussions are about how cruel Helmut Marko and Christian Horner are to drop Lawson after 2 races. I'm not that sentimental, to be honest. Lawson was very feisty and keen to get into that seat, and then it turned sour very quickly. It happens. Keeping him in that seat to see him out in Q1 every race wasn't an option either, so they ripped the bandage off quickly. After talking to some F1 creator friends, a feeling rose that there might be more to it, but I'll talk about that later. Christian Horner said that Yuki Tsunoda's experience will help in turning that difficult car around. That sounds plausible, and it's also the first and only time they really address the technical difficulties of the current Red Bull cars. I also read that Liam Lawson welcomed the demotion as he felt very lost in the RB21. The Racing Bulls package, created by Jody Eggington, who I spoke about in my previous video, is much nicer to drive and with less pressure. It should give him a great opportunity to redeem himself. So most of the reasoning for swapping the drivers is easy to understand, and I'm not someone who's dramatic about it. Red Bull has swapped a lot of drivers in the past, but they all received opportunities within Red Bull. Some flourished again, some didn't. Such is life. I'm sure Lawson will be grand. Drivers sign to be Red Bull juniors willingly, despite their reputation. They get a lot of help, and most of them we don't see in F1 at all. So the driver swapping is the least of my worries about Red Bull racing. I'm worried about what Max Verstappen thinks about it all. Even before the decision was made to demote Lawson, Verstappen was asked about the possibility. He said that the drivers aren't the issue, and he said Lawson would be faster in the V-Carb too, because it's an easier car to drive. He said that it showed by how close Hadjar and Tsunoda were in that package compared to him. Now, that may sound arrogant, like he knows he should be a second faster or something, but that's not how he meant it. He meant to say that the main team should have a car that is a second faster regardless of who drives it, just because better people worked on it and more money was spent on it. Add that he's a world champion and has 10 years in the sport, and you know he has to be more than 3/10 ahead of Hadjar and Tsunoda. So, the swap did not please Max Verstappen at all. And not because it's messing with these young drivers' heads or that he has a new teammate all of a sudden. It's because it takes all the attention away from the glaring issue. The issue is that Red Bull is building shitty cars. And they have been for a while now. The F1 space is tumbling over each other to give opinions about Red Bull and Lawson and Tsunoda, evil Dr. Marko and Horny Horner, and all that noise is detracting from what the team needs. It needs a better car. If the people at Red Bull's technical side aren't cutting it, they should be replaced. Not one driver after the other. Mercedes had a poor 2022 and 2023 season, and they demoted Mike Elliott and put James Allison back into his old position. At Aston Martin, things aren't good concerning the car. So they gave Dan Fallows another job and got Dewey in. Those decisions are hard, but it's better in the long run. Also, those teams don't have Max Verstappen, who can make a shit car look good. Pierre Wache is a Verstappen merchant that way. Max Verstappen is not pleased with his team's decision, and we saw that when his Dutch racing friend former Caterham driver Guido van der Garde posted on Instagram about Liam Lawson's demotion, and Max liked that post. So did Gasly and some other drivers. The focus that should be on the poor package isn't there, and I have an idea why this is welcomed by certain parties at Red Bull. I think behind the scenes, things are at play that aren't in the interest of the drivers. I'm going to talk about it in the next chapter. If you liked the video so far, please give it a like for the algorithm, and if you're not subscribed, please do. I have much more to say about F1. There are plans to make the Red Bull F1 team a separate entity away from the energy drinks company. This is what caused the friction in the organization last year. I feel a lot of decisions made at the top are related to this. Okay, I'm stepping into my own gut feelings here based on everything I've read about the Red Bull situation. Let's start at the start. The Thai side of Red Bull wants Christian Horner to lead the racing team with everything that comes with it. Red Bull will become a sponsor again. Helmut Marko and the Austrian side prevented that for now. There's a truce between all parties, but in the meantime, decisions around money and the business side of F1 have been made. It's like they're prepping financially for the big change. For instance, Daniel Ricciardo was incremental to getting Visa Cash App involved. Yuki Tsunoda had a place at Red Bull for years due to his Honda backing. They are paying money now to see him at Red Bull. I believe an amount of $10 million is involved. Adrian Newey is the best technical man in F1, but he was very expensive. I heard Horner say that although he was sad to see him go, it freed up money. I also heard that if Lawson wasn't promoted this season, he'd be free to walk away from the Red Bull family. With his 2 races for the main team, Red Bull secured him. Who knows, they might rent him out to Cadillac or something. Or get him paid out of his contract like Alpine did with Gasly. Yuki Tsunoda had offers last season, but Red Bull lifted the option and kept him on. These are all more business-like decisions rather than choices based on who's best or what's best for the team. Not in the short term anyway. Max Verstappen wants fixes for the short term. Helmut Marko is there to be a buffer for the Austrian side, and Christian Horner is there to survive. He made it through the turmoil last season and things seem to be quiet. But I see a direct link between the RB20 and the RB21 being awful to drive and Horner's involvement in Newey's departure. If Horner hadn't sided with the Thai side for his own ambition, the Horner Gate case wouldn't have happened. And Adrian Newey would have stayed. He would have prevented the mistakes and the car would have been amazing now, just like the McLaren's car. No wonder Horner wants the noise around the driver swap and silence about the bad car design. I did read comments from Helmut Marko saying that they missed Newey, and the RB21 turned out to be worse than expected after their good winter. So the needle is still there, I believe. In the meantime, both teams are fully sponsored, they have drivers with backing and a world champion dragging the car to places it shouldn't be. So what can go wrong? Max Verstappen, despite his reputation in the UK, is a good guy. He's loyal and kind to his people. The whole Red Bull family were his people. I say were because something is brewing. I'll tell you why I think that. People in F1 use the media to get their side of the story out. Mercedes and Hamilton had Sky Sports F1. I have a feeling Christian Horner is very close with certain big outlets in the F1 space too. The race, for instance, are way harder on Helmut Marko than on Horner. I don't know if you noticed that. Ferrari has the Italian papers and the Verstappen clan has the Telegraaf. Or, to be more precise, Erik van Haren. Whenever they need something in the open, Van Haren has a scoop. That's why he reported the Lawson-Tsunoda swap 2 days before the official announcement. They talked about it, no doubt. Max Verstappen is in England as we speak to talk to the whole team and everyone involved. It's said it's to sort out the car. I firmly believe that Max Verstappen will be very firm with the leading people in the team. Promises need to be made and he will need to feel 100% cooperation from them or else. Or else he'll start looking elsewhere. And he won't need to look very far. Toto Wolff wants him badly and hasn't signed with Russell yet. Aston Martin wants him too. I believe that they floated this 1 billion story around to tempt him. I think Verstappen would rather take a year out to spend time with his partner Kelly and the baby they're expecting. Take 2026 out, see who's strong in the new regulations, and then see if he can join them. This would be unthinkable a few years ago, but the politics in the background have ruined things a lot. Verstappen won't stick around if he's not happy. I'm glad you guys stuck around. Take care now. Doei doei.